I think, Witherhoard's awesome. There's another sweet exotic coming out pretty soon. And we've been trying to find the mix between, awesome new stuff and some classics. And a little over a year ago, we started to bring back some of the classic, the classics in an archetype that is near and dear to my and a bunch of our, players' hearts as well. And so we started off with The Last Words and Thorn. And this fall, we're going to kind of complete that holy trinity from D1 with Hawkmoon. And I'm imagining an image is going to be shown. Yeah. So before people wonder about Luck in the Chamber, talk about Luck in the Chamber a minute, the OG Hawkmoon had the interesting and sometimes annoying property of all of the bullets stacking into one and then zonking someone and deleting them in PvP. And then you kind of wonder, like, what the hell happened? And that randomness of Hawkmoon is kind of a defining property emotionally for the gun. But the team has envisioned a bold new direction for Hawkmoon that's going to move the randomness in a different direction off of the damage, so there's no Luck in the Chamber or holding aces perks for it. And I think we'll probably talk more about that, as we get a little closer to launch. Everyone everyone's working real hard on Destiny 2 Beyond Light right now, and there's not a lot of extra time to unveil a bunch of stuff about that, and we're still working on it too. Like, we're playtesting Hawkmoon. I've been running it all week in my Beyond Light playtests, and I know the team's looking at awesome ways to keep enhancing it. Thank you so much for the donations, and again, like the team's doing all the work here on Hawkmoon, and it's going to be super sweet when it comes out, and we're gonna make sure that it's got a great path to acquire and reacquire.
What's going on, ladies and gents, boys and girls, guardians of all ages? Joker back again once again, and recently, as part of a St. Jude charity event, as one of the stretch goals, Bungie, as you saw at the beginning of the video, revealed an exotic returning to Destiny in the Fall Beyond Light DLC. And before we get further into that, I want to applaud Bungie and the Destiny community for the tremendous work that they've done with St. Jude. Given current events, it was heartwarming to see those goals utterly demolished for a good cause. Cancer causes are something that are near and dear to my heart. As many of you know, my mother passed away a few years ago from cancer. So it was great to see Bungie take part in this event, but it was even greater to see what the community contributed. And now, unceremoniously, with no segue whatsoever, we return to Hawkmoon. So, as you saw from the video, Hawkmoon isn't going to return as it was in Destiny 1. Something we've seen before with weapons like Ace of Spades, Thorn, or Hard Light, where the weapon has either been retooled or reworked before being brought into Destiny 2. Now, I have a little bit of a crackpot theory on this. When Luke Smith talked about bringing Hawkmoon back, he also commented on the new exotic Witherhoard. With the next DLC, Bungie will be sunsetting 80% of the gear in the game, and a lot of other content as well. Exotics, however, will not be sunset. And that's where we come to Witherhoard. Now, I can't be the only one who's noticed that Witherhoard serves roughly, if not at a much better capacity, the same role as Mountaintop, only it's exotic. So could Hawkmoon end up being a remixed version of Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten? Now, of course, I have no real evidence for this speculation, except for Witherhoard being kind of an exotic Mountaintop, and the kind of naming convention between Hawkmoon and Luna's Howl, and the kind of naming convention between Hawkmoon and Luna's Howl, and the fact that Luna's Howl was the precursor to Not Forgotten, just like Is Luna is the precursor to Hawkmoon. Now, of course, like I said, this is a crackpot theory, but it's really there to set up the point of this discussion. Is an exotic that is completely reworked, fundamentally, from the ground up, still the same exotic? If not, then why bring it back? Why not make something new, which you're basically already doing? Does a rose by any other name still smell as sweet? If they, like in this hypothetical, bring back Hawkmoon from Destiny 1, but it performs like Luna's Howl or Not Forgotten, is it still Hawkmoon? Or is it just Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten with a Hawkmoon skin? Thorn and Ace of Spades are really kind of the poster children when it comes to bringing an exotic back, reworking it, and doing it right. In Destiny 1, Ace of Spades was an exotic 140 hand cannon with Firefly, Third Eye, and the exotic perk Maverick. What Maverick did was move one round from the reserves to the magazine on precision kills, a perk that gives it Outlaw and 6 shots of bonus damage upon reload, making it all around, even after all of the nerfs, one of the best hand cannons in the game, for both PvP and PvE. More so on PC, but just more so because, well, everything else has been nerfed into the ground. And because 140s need help. Like, a lot of help. But I digress. Ace of Spades also got a substantial narrative and lore update. It went from that gun that was Cade's, to that gun where Cade made a replica for hunters, to the gun that took Cade's life, and ultimately, the weapon that was used to avenge him. That moment you realize that the Ace of Spades has had more character development than all of the NPCs in Destiny. Hell, I would go as far as to say that Ace of Spades is now one of the most storied weapons in all of Destiny history, without requiring the literal retelling of Star Wars, but with hunter capes. Which, of course, segues perfectly into Thorn. Thorn was brought back and reworked in a way that was true to its legacy and its lore, at least in my mind. Whenever you kill somebody with Thorn, it spawns a remnant, and you collect that remnant, it activates Mark of the Devourer, which, in my mind, accentuates the idea that Thorn causes hallucinations, but also grants more power the more you kill. The more you kill, the more orbs that are spawned, the longer Mark of the Devourer will last. Theory leads players to being more reckless to collect these orbs. Now, I do have some problems with this from a gameplay standpoint, simply because things like Ace of Spades or Not Forgotten or Rampage or Kill Clip don't require you chasing down something to activate its perk. I do, however, love the little Orby boys from a narrative conceptual standpoint. It's a change that plays into the identity of the weapon, but also balances it in a way that doesn't leave it nerfed, and a shell of its former self like it was at the end of Destiny 1. And if they can do that with Hawkmoon, more power to them. If they can't, then they shouldn't, because nobody wants a GIMP version of a weapon that they loved from Destiny 1 brought back. Leave it in the past. Let it have its legacy. All of that said, I really hope Hawkmoon gets some real lore this time around. Luke Smith said that it was the trifecta of the Destiny 1 hand cannons, Thorn, Last Word, and Hawkmoon. But not really, not when it came to lore. Hawkmoon has one lore entry, plus some flavor text, and a sort of side note in the fact that Ayasaluna is basically a prototype Hawkmoon. I guess you could expand that a little bit by the fact that I believe Bottom Tree Golden Gun uses the Ayasaluna model, while Top Tree uses the Last Word model, and Ostringer is nothing more than a retrofitted Ayasaluna. But ultimately, that's just kind of, hey, isn't this cool that this looks like this other thing? Not actual lore. That said, that does kind of play back into my crackpot theory that Bungie's making Hawkmoon Not Forgotten 2.0, because Ayasaluna was the Crucible prototype of Hawkmoon, just like how Luna's Hal is the prototype of Not Forgotten. Gasp! Shock! Horror! Lightning crackle, lightning crackle, lightning crackle! And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I just kind of wanted to talk about Hawkmoon coming back and what they might do to change it, where they might change it, and my hope for its lore. Maybe this is just nostalgia talking, but I do think it deserves more than it got in Destiny 1. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Remember to like, but only if you did. Subscribe for more and hit that bell notification because, well, as we all know, YouTube is YouTube. Feel free to donate to my Patreon if you're feeling generous, but above all else, stay frosty.
Claimed Zone B. Fought like a titan of the first pillar. Zone A lost. Your enemy has a power play. Strength in numbers, Guardian. Excellent. Zone C captured. strength is an inspiration to us all, Titan.